Hello and welcome to another Geniverse features overview. In this video, I'll be conducting a high-level walkthrough of the Geniverse. I'll show you the basics on how to use your Genie, as well as where to find the different features within your Genie. It's important to note that if you ever have a question or anything like that, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. We have a contact us support option form that you can fill out on our website at geniverse.ai, or you can always go through in your settings down here, which we'll cover in a little bit more depth later on. But more importantly, you can always ask your Genie. So if you ever have a question on a feature, how to use it, or any kind of the basics there, you're actually going to be able to simply ask your Genie what questions you have, and it should be able to help you out there. So just keep that in mind. Obviously, that'll be hopefully the easiest way if you have any questions that need answering. But aside from that, I'm just going to be taking you through some of the basics within your Genie to kind of explain what the purposes are, what you can do with it, just kind of a high level, and let's go ahead and get started. So first and foremost, this is going to be the screen that you guys are mostly going to be taken to at the very beginning. You're going to see that you have an interaction bar that most people are familiar with from for LLMs, as well as this box up here. Now, the importance of this box, as you can see, it's asking a question here: what inspires you when making a creative project? The question itself is important to your Genie experience, as it helps you train your Genie. As you might already know, your Genie is able to accrue memories about you based on interactions you've had with it. As time goes on, whenever you prompt or engage with your Genie, if there's any interesting context to be had within that, meaning, birthdays, certain key information, and that kind of a thing, your Genie is going to, over time, automatically remember those things, and it's going to accrue those memories in a way to help give it context in the future that you don't have to provide every single time that you go in to talk with your Genie. And this question box here helps provide you a way to have kind of just a basic communication back and forth with your Genie to help provide it and fill in some of that context. And so these questions that it's going to be asking you, based on your answers, it'll be able to remember those, and in the future use those in any of its responses, or if you're drafting anything or building anything, it'll be able to use that to help personalize whatever it's giving back to you. So you can kind of go back and forth with this. It acts identically to any sort of typical conversation that you might have with it in the interaction bar, but this will essentially consistently ask you leading questions to just find more out about you. Obviously, you don't have to use this if you don't want to, if that's not your intent, but this is a handy tool to help flesh out and give your Genie the context it needs to truly personalize your experience. Beyond that, you've got your typical or traditional interaction bar down here, and this is how you're going to traditionally engage with your Genie and ask it questions, prompt it, get what you need from it. So nothing too crazy here, but let's start exploring the other features we've got down here. We'll go with the settings. So in the settings, you can see there's a number of different options. You've got manage account. This is how you'll be able to traverse over to manage your subscription if you say you want to update, edit, remove, or adjust your subscription in any way. You can do that from your managed account here. This will take you to a separate page on our website where you'll be able to do all of those kind of things. These three items here, these are all somewhat similar in what they do in functionality, but delete data in database. This one's kind of your nuclear option. This will delete any and all information currently saved in your Genie. So this means any of your chats, any of your creations, your spaces, any of your memories, any of your preferences, all of that will get deleted if you use this option. Now, you have to be very careful with this, as these will be non-recoverable if you do this. So Just again, this is kind of that nuclear option, as I mentioned. This is only if you want a completely clean slate, then with nothing left of your original Genie. Obviously, you can rebuild those things, but you won't be able to use version control to get them back. Resetting data sources. This only resets essentially what you've uploaded for your data sets as it or your data sources as it mentions here. And so what that means is if you've uploaded any files, if you've linked your Google account or anything like that, those are all considered data sources. If you reset the data sources, it will delete any of the files that you've uploaded in here. Again, that'll only be specifically to your Genie, or it will also disconnect any connections you made, say, with your Google account or anything like that. So again, these won't be recoverable, so if you do reset your data sources, you'll have to re-upload those files or reconnect your Google and everything else manually, or at least through the Knowledge Center. So be careful with that. Clear chat history. This one's probably is the most basic one. It's pretty straightforward. It's just clearing out all of your chat history that you currently have, and that only refers to the conversations you've had with your Genie. This won't delete your memories. This won't delete your preferences. This won't delete any of your individual creation spaces, anything like that. It's just going to be your chats that you've had in here. So again, these will be non-recoverable if you do use this, but it is an option. These are all in place to help make that a little bit easier if you do en masse want to do one of those different things. Aside from that, we've got contact support. This is, as I mentioned, a way for you to communicate with us. So you run into a bug, or if you have any questions about your Geniverse, you're welcome to ask through this. This is the form you can see here. It'll automatically fill in your email here. And then you can add a subject line and a description, as well as upload if you have screenshots or anything else that you want to. You're welcome to put them in here. And you can request a feature, report a bug, account support, that kind of a thing. So important to note, obviously, as you're going along, feel free to ask anything that you want to through here. So other than that, release notes, this is just a separate page that kind of, if you're interested, you can take a look at any upcoming features or recently deployed features that have been implemented for the Geniverse. This can help you kind of keep track of the new developments as this thing is being put together. So, and aside from that, the about, you won't have access to this, but this is so not super important. This is really just giving details about the versioning and that kind of thing. So, all right, next up, we've got your Knowledge Center. So Knowledge Center, this is where you're going to be able to provide additional data or data sources by either linking them or uploading them. These are also certain things that are going to be generated automatically with your Geniverse, and I'll step through a little bit on what those are. We're not going to go into any grand details about them, but with your Google accounts, you can click into here to simply connect a Google account or a Google account that you would like to use, whether that's for your Gmail or if you want to go into Drive and that kind of a thing. So fairly straightforward. This is the typical sign-up process. You'll essentially log in to your Google account and verify and accept and allow it to communicate with your Genie so that you can use that as a tool here. Knowledge docs, this is essentially where you're able to actually upload different files and use those. So, for example, if you have any documentation for a work project or anything like that, you're able to actually upload these. It can be Excel, it can be CSV, you can have PDF, JPEG, all sorts of different stuff in here. But this is where you'll be able to upload this, and then your Genie will be able to reference that moving forward, and so you can use that to communicate, ask it questions about that file, or get specifics based on that file. So also a very important tool. Otherwise, we've got things like known entities. Now note this was actually going to be called contacts here in the near future, which is fairly straightforward. This will be any of the information that you've accrued over time. Whether if you've connected to a Google account, you'll automatically get contacts pulled in based on that. and that'll be emails or whatever information they have on those individuals. You can also add contacts that you want and that kind of a thing in here. Memories. This is essentially where your Geniverse is accruing all of the remembered material about yourself. This is both automatic and manual. Anyways, we do have a whole video on that if you would like to explore that, but this is where you'd go to actually manage that. Echoes, this is another feature that we also have a video for, but this is where you'd go to add a voice that you want to replicate moving forward. And what I mean by that is if you have, say, a professional persona or an email that you want to send out to different clients and you want to maintain a certain tone or kind of speech pattern within that email, you can use echoes to train your genie to essentially create professional or non-professional echoes, and it will apply those whenever you call it to essentially draft those for you in that specific voice. So pretty interesting stuff here, and this is where you go to manage it. And then your preferences. This is where you go to manage if you'd like to. Keep in mind you can do a lot of this management from your interaction bar and the main chat area as well, but if you wanted to come in, you can go into this table here. The managing preferences, this allows you to use you name yourself, and this is how it'll address you, your genie itself. It also gives you a culture, which this is essentially alluding to, what time zone are you in? What's the date format that you use in your region? If you have, if you're in Canada, for example, it switches the month and the days. To what kind of are you in metric? Are you in the standard or anything else like that? So imperial and that kind of a thing. So it also has certain spelling conventions that it's going to follow. So whether you're American or British, obviously gray and gray are spelled differently depending on where you're at. Then you also have the name. So you're going to have what you're calling or what your Geniverse is called, that kind of a thing, as well as how it responds to you traditionally. And so this can be, you can set this to whatever you want. If you want to have special voices or funny voices, you can set that too, as well as your genie's name down here. So a lot of different preferences that you can set. Again, all of these are editable here. If you would like to, you can go to edit, delete from this option, or you can just do it from your interaction bar, and it'll manage it for you there. You can just ask what you want there. Most of the other features that you'll see in here, you've got your chat, you've got spaces, we've got views, we have an upcoming creations and lists that are going to be out soon. You'll also notice those as well. All of those are going to be navigable by this left rail down here. You can go to these different areas and use those features. I have videos for each one of those, so if you want to learn more about them, go ahead and check that out. Otherwise, thank you very much for listening and have a good one.